It changed a lot of my mindset on really how money works and how you could get money to work for you. It really does get that machine going.
Hey, welcome back to the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel, where we help you go further, faster financially while remaining safe in the process.
This channel is all about debt weapons. That's right, guys. We do it with debt weapons. And no better person to talk with today than my old buddy here, Mr. Ryan Healy, one of my best friends in the world. Ryan has been a poster child of what the possibilities look like when it comes to debt weapons. And he's been on the channel here a handful of times, so we'll put some of those videos in the description below so you guys can check those out. Track the progress of acquiring debt weapons and using them and paying all your debt off. And now you've come much, much further since the last time that we had you here on the channel. We've been spending the last few days together here at our mountain property, which is our lifestyle asset. We teach all things banking and borrowing here on this channel, how to go faster financially than you ever thought possible. And we do that with tools that we began calling debt weapons back in 2009. And these are tools that allow us to really just kind of focus on maximizing cash flow. And that's what I wanted to bring Ryan in here again today for an update to talk a little bit about what he's been working on the last year, because it's heavily relied on debt weapons, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the latest project that you were doing with the collection of having access to capital.
Well, most recently, one of my biggest clients, we have cities that we do, that we throw lights up on, and they're very big projects. Takes lots of labor, lots of materials to pull together. And if you've ever worked with government, a lot of times it's net 30 and net 60 before you get paid on the work that you do. So a big one there was using some debt weapons that we had put together ahead of time so that I could pay for labor, materials, a lot of the startup costs that it takes every season to get going, because we get very heavily invoice rich and not necessarily cash flow rich until a certain point in our season. So that really helps us bridge the gap, keeps the operation going smoothly, and just makes us just operate. There's no way we'd be able to do it without it, at least at this level. And then the second big project that I did this last year was I built an ADU, which stands for accessory dwelling unit. My parents have some property out in California. When I had gone out to Santa Barbara to look at buying some property, it was just out of my grasp. I was finding 700 square foot apartments 70 years old for $750,000, and that just wasn't realistic, even with an HOA fee added to it. It was like, who has $6,000 that they could put towards, a monthly mortgage? So we looked at this accessory dwelling unit, which is essentially a granny flat. And then
it's like a mother-in-law unit that you build separate from the home, usually detached, right? Or is it often above the
this
garages?
one was, we had a garage, so we tore down the garage, we put in new footings, which is the foundation, built the new garage. Off the back of the garage is a living room and kitchen. There's the front door. This is the kitchen space. So you kind of see the living room. And then you go up the stairs to our master suite. And then we have two huge patios off the back of that. And I was essentially able to build a brand new townhouse in Santa Barbara, California, for a fourth of what it would have been for me to buy something equivalent of it. And it's really nice, very proud of it. But it was built with debt weapons. We used HELOC. I also used a combination of zero interest credit cards where I didn't have to pay any interest for 2 years, at least for the appliances and other things that we had. So I was able to really kind of piecemeal the whole thing together and build this amazing property, which we already have renters in. It's already cash flowing for us. So really happy about that. And as I'm going to be transitioning my business out to California, it's just great to know that I have that asset that I could go live in, or while I'm here back in Colorado, it is creating income for us.
Right, similar to the lifestyle asset that we're sitting in right now, guys. He's able to use it, but he's also able to make a lot of money from it. So that's something else that we talk a lot about here on the channel. This is great because it's demonstrating a lot of the diversity behind the accounts and what they're capable of. I found it interesting because Ryan and I were talking a couple of I guess months, or it feels like months. Maybe it was just a handful of weeks ago, but about this business, this lighting business that he runs, right? And he's looking at automating it, and he's looking to bring in sort of a chief operating officer, or even really parlay the ownership equity into a split ownership with another individual. But here was what I found really interesting, right? This guy, probably close to 30 at this point.
Yeah, I think it's 28.
Has no experience as an entrepreneur, which I know some of you don't as well. And he was given some really sound advice by you pertaining to debt weapons and what you've learned just through our relationship. And I've seen you grow so much. It's really fun to watch what you're doing with this now. And you were encouraging him to get out, set up an entity, apply for tools that he could use to get some of the infrastructure underway so that he could really start to run the business. And essentially you would be handing him a business in a box and not even charging him for it, to my understanding, other than again, splitting profits. So what happened from that? Because I think it was an excellent example of how we can get stuck in our own way.
So the quick backstory on that is, as I just mentioned earlier, I am transitioning out to California. I built a huge business out here that I'm very proud of. And I wanted to make sure I was leaving my clients in the hands of somebody that I knew could service it. He had been a foreman for me years before. I know he had had a lot of success working for this corporate entity that he's at now, but he really just hates that grind that he has to do. And I said, I couldn't imagine not working for myself. And I basically laid out a really good package for him, which was more of like a sweat equity. He comes in as the operations manager, works for me for 2 years, and then he takes over those clients' contracts. And he didn't have to put any money down, but I taught him how to get an LLC, how to set up all the insurance. I was just holding his hand through this whole process, and he went to a bank to get a credit card. And because of his credit, they said, we're not going to be able to give you the amount that you're looking for. And he walked away defeated from that, and then basically was like, I don't know if I could do this. Lots of fear mentality came in, and I said, you went to one place. Yeah, you're going to get turned down, but that's just one line of credit. There are so many different types out there, and he just got defeated. And then I just realized through the whole process of that you absolutely in business are going to hit walls, and you either punch through them, you go around, or you climb over the top of it, but you don't let the wall stop you and hang out there and just not move forward anymore. And then for me, I just was like, this probably won't be the kind of fit if you can't get through that mental barrier, break through, and don't take no as a reason to not have your own success. So it was a real eye-opener for me, not just from a standpoint of looking at somebody who certainly has the skills, but they didn't have the mental side to sort of follow through on some of this. And I think the mindset is just so key, especially with these sort of debt weapons and other things. Is just keep going with it, and just find a way to make things work. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I always tell people that the key to success with what we teach and in most areas of life is consistency. Really cool point being made there. I will stress that a couple of the debt weapons that I've acquired, even some of the ones I acquired this year, for instance, a non-owner occupied home equity line of credit, $250,000 of availability. It's same as cash check writing capabilities. I have access to it in a split second if I want it or need it. Debt weapons and having access to capital, because we keep our borrowing strength and our credit scores so strong, is critical for the growth of opportunities, being able to take advantage of something really quickly. If you spot something that can make you a lot of money, we use these tools to attack and eliminate our debts in a fraction of the time, hence the term debt weapons. But we also use these tools in the event of emergencies. I call it JIC, just in case. Very, very important to understand that you don't have to have cash reserves sitting in a checking or savings account doing little to nothing for you other than just providing you that sense of security or that emergency fund, which is great. Peace of mind certainly has a lot of value, but it does not change that it's not earning anything. You want your money working for you, and debt weapons allows you to replace that necessity of an emergency fund. So a lot of different variables when it comes to the benefits of using these tools correctly or having access to these tools correctly. What have you learned through the course of our relationship? I know that you were already a serial entrepreneur. I didn't get you started in business, and you obviously were using some of the tools already. How has your mindset shifted with respect to having access to capital and putting money to work in a way that was different than you did before because of our friendship?
Well, I think the biggest one, when I had first started, I started my business using credit cards. I had gotten a Home Depot credit card because they'll just pretty much give those to anybody, when I was still paying off college debt and my credit wasn't what it is now. To moving into a place where all of a sudden, hey, let's get that credit number up there, through Matt's teachings, and then, oh, hey, credit cards aren't the only line of credit you could get. That's just the first one you think about. And some of the things you were speaking to, I had never thought about a business line of credit, and then just having personal lines of credit. And so that money, like you had just spoken to, where you could grab it and kind of put towards an opportunity, I'm going to be doing with my next ventures moving forward, because now I know the potential. You start running numbers on things and you just say, okay, I could do this. I know I could take a product from here and throw it over on this side and create an income stream off of it. But I need to have that capital to kind of get started on it. And even just a small little bit you could kind of pull, take, throw over, paying a little bit of interest on. It really does get that machine going. So it changed a lot of my mindset on really how money works and how you could get money to work for you. And I would always known Ari Onassis's quote of OPW, OPM, other people's work, other people's money. And I knew that when I went to college, but I didn't really understand the principle of it until we started working together, and you really got me in that mentality of, hey, get your money to work for you. And then of course, assets like, making sure that you bring in really good talent, the work mentality of, hey, let's get some people that really believe in what you're doing, and then taking care of them, which is good.
Yeah, I think scaling out the businesses and automating the income streams is such a critical aspect to creating real wealth and freeing up your time and creating the ability to live life on your own terms. And that's really what this channel is all about, folks, is lifestyle design, being able to live life the exact way that you would describe it if money was no issue ever again. So go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that you are a part of this channel and a part of the journey that we're on. We want you to be a cash flower with us. Until we see you on the next video, make it a great day today. Ryan, thanks for being here again, buddy.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.